Hello and welcome to another JavaScript tutorial video. This one will be covering sorting. It's the built-in sort method for arrays. So the difference on this one compared to the last video where we looked at map, filter, and reduce is this one does actually mutate your original array. And we can see that very clearly if let me just comment this out for a moment. And instead of logging the ascending array, I'm going to log the unsorted one here. And for now, of course, you're just going to see this array right here. Nothing special will happen to it. So it's a jumbled up 1 through 5, basically. So if you didn't expect this to mutate, then we would expect to see exactly this again when we run this. But as you can see, we have the ascending array here, even though we are only logging the unsorted array, and that's because it is being mutated by this dot sort right here. So we're actually getting the result of this being mutated. It's important to note that as of, I think, node version 20, you will be able to use something called .toSorted, which I cannot use because I'm on node version 18. And I believe most people are probably on node version 18 still, but as time goes forward and we eventually all switch and into later node versions, you'll be able to do this. And this will not mutate the original array, but I can't use it on this one since I'm on node version 18. And you're going to see sort for a long time still, so it's good to just keep in mind that this will mutate the original array. How do we get around that though? So if we wanted to keep our original array unmutated, but still use the sort function, there's a few ways. They're actually pretty easy. The only thing you really have to do, as an example, construct an array around your original array right before the sort, and then spread it with your 3 dots, with your ellipses. And what this does is it looks into your original array and it says, all right, well, what's in there? Let's see, we have a 3. It says, okay, let's take the 3 out. Let's take the 4 out, the 1, the 5, and the 2. It goes, all right, well, I have all these. They're all spread out. What do you want me to do with them? And it says, okay, it's inside of a bracket. So I guess you want them in an array again. So what you're doing is you're constructing a new array that's identical to your previous one, but it's a new one. It's not the same. So this one will actually keep your original array untouched. So if we were to run this, you'll see that no longer do we get the sorted one. Now it's still sorted since we are, or sorry, still unsorted since we're logging this one here. Another way to do it, if you don't want to use the spread operator, is to do .slice before you're sorting, and that will work as well. So that is another way to avoid the mutation. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go back to the spread operator here. And let's actually log the ascending. So we have our unsorted array, and then we have our sorted array directly after our ascending sorted array. So what's happening here? We have sorted such that A minus B. So what the heck does that mean? Like how are we getting a sorted array out of just that? Well, what it's doing is it's saying, is this element minus this element less than 1? Or I'm sorry, less than 0 or greater than 0? So is it negative or is it positive? And if it's negative, sort it in one direction. If it's positive, sort it in the other direction. So you can also see that by being very explicit with it. So this right here, this ascending, will give us the exact same thing. Is A greater than B? Return a positive number, return 1. If B is greater than A, return a negative number. and otherwise just return 0. And technically you don't even need this one here. So you wouldn't want to do else if you got rid of this, you would just do an else. But just to show that if you don't want to do anything, you just want to keep it where it is, you can return a 0, and that's fine. So, oh, sorry. Let's spread this one too, to avoid the mutation. There we go. So we have our unsorted array, and then directly after we have our ascending sorted array. So just to reify that this has to do with if it's negative or positive, let's switch it to 2. Still works, right? What about 5,000 and negative 3, something like that? What does that do? The exact same thing, right? So it doesn't matter if it's positive on some grand scale or not, but of course this, you wouldn't do it this way, but just to show the example that if it's positive or negative is what's determining which direction it's sorted. So that's why when you're actually looking at how these are usually written, it's just A minus B, because, well, if A minus B is positive, then sort it one way, and if it's negative, sort it the other, and it will go through your entire array and sort it in that fashion. So it's just basically, you can think of this as a shorthand of sorting it to be ascended. Here is the descended version. You're just flipping B and A. Okay, so let's log out the descending. And there it is. And yeah, that's that's the basics of sorting. The main thing to keep in mind is that it mutates your original array, and what you are returning is a positive or a negative number, which determines which direction it gets sorted. Okay, I think that's it.